Good morning, and welcome to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena. Welcome to all members, friends, and guests. My name is Lynn Miyamoto, and I currently serve as your Vice President on the Board of Trustees. Today, I'm happy to serve as your worship associate as well. Neighborhood Church creates and grows an inclusive community of faith connected by love, spirit, and service. We acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tangva peoples, the traditional caretakers of the lands and waters of this campus. Today's service is led by Reverend Dr. Omega S. Burkhart with Frank Colcourt and myself. Our music today is led by Tiffany Lantello, Sonia Ohan, and Dan Childers. Our summer schedule has begun, so all children's activities have moved to the sanctuary building. There are activities and additional information for you and your family and the information sheet in the entryway. Families with young children are always welcome in the sanctuary, and there is additional play area for the very youngest in our narthex. For adults and older youth who don't need assistance, there is a quiet table for doodling and drawing close to the organ. I'd like to draw your attention to the following announcements. Number one, there are 2 different activities to sign up for right now. First, visit the table on the patio to sign up after the service to learn more about our congregation's summer trip to Cap de Vanderbilt Pines. This yearly tradition is a family favorite. Also, you can sign up to be in a chalice circle for the 2026-27 church year. These gatherings offer the opportunity to engage with smaller groups monthly over the course of 9 months to explore and deepen your spiritual engagement. See the Chalice Circle leadership after the service to learn more. And last, but certainly not least, please consider signing up to be a teacher for our children and youth programming next year. Even if you can't commit to weekly teaching, we'd love to have you for a volunteer at least once a month. Training and support will be offered. This is a great way to support our families and youth, as well as deepening how you live into the values of interdependence and generosity. As you may have noticed, we have changed the order of elements in our Sunday services. If you'd like to follow along, our order of service this morning is available as a link in the Sunday email and online by scanning the QR code on the back of your hymnal with your phone camera. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, an inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service. Please rise in body or spirit to join us in singing the processional hymn, part of the whole, from Sing Out Loud online hymnal. The words will be on the screen.
Singing together, We gather in this place to answer many questions and to question many answers. Today we're going to ponder this question: how do we meet the moment as Unitarian Universalists? As many of you already know, in our yearly tradition, Unitarian Universalists from around the world gathered in person in Louisville, Kentucky, and it is Louisville, not Louisville. Gathered in Louisville, Kentucky, and also online virtually a few weeks ago for our General Assembly. Ministers like myself gathered at an additional meeting for part of that time for what is known as Ministry Days. And these two gatherings happen every year, creating a full week of programming for Unitarian Universalists, for UU teachers, for leaders, members of the congregation, for chaplains, community organizers, and ministers, as a part of a whole experience that is learning, it is social, and there's a little business involved too. We engage in seminars and discussions and trainings, and delegates from individual churches like ours vote on the business of our whole Unitarian Universalist Association. This year's theme was Meet the Moment, and this theme underscores the tensions and aspirations that we are feeling as a people of faith in a world that feels increasingly unstable every day. Over and over in sessions and in worship services and in lectures and in Zoom chat boxes, the question was asked in a multitude of ways. How do we center love? How do we remain resilient as we move into an uncertain future? Today, we gather to share with you some of the ways that our faith movement is considering this question. Lynn Miyamoto and Frank Colcord, two of our voting delegates this year, will outline some ways that this discussion was centered. And I will offer some general comments and a call to action for this congregation for our upcoming church year. We light our chalice this morning with the words that were given by my colleagues, the Reverends Bruce Beisner and Liz Weber, during the Saturday morning worship service. Bruce and Liz serve our UU congregations in the suburbs and in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. These words are in honor of Bell Hooks, author and teacher, who also hails from their state. These are her words. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move toward freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. As a practice of centering ourselves in this space and time, I invite you into centering this morning, where we will focus on our body and our breath in this space. These words were inspired by the Reverend Liz Weber, and she includes in her work the combination of yoga and somatic practice with imaging. So I share with you this invitation. Find yourself seated in this space as is comfortable to you. You may keep your eyes open or close them. Bring your shoulders up, straightening your back, breathing deeply into the center of your body. I invite you to focus your attention on your back of neck, the back of your head. Find your long spine from the top of your skull to where you are seated. Think of the space behind you as a connection to your past, a connection to our shared history, a connection to our ancestors, yours and mine. They are behind us. They are supporting us. Now I invite you to bring your awareness to the front of your body, to your forehead, nose, and chin, to your chest, perhaps your kneecaps that face forward. Think of this space as where we are going, where you are heading, your aspirations for the future. And now, if it is comfortable and feels right for your body in this space, I invite you to lightly shift your shoulders, twisting very carefully left to right, and notice how your past and your future intertwine, making space for your past and your ancestors to meet with your future aspirations. Now, sitting up tall, imagine your shoulders left and right facing out to this beloved community within these walls. Energy coming out from each of your shoulders into our community and in turn being embraced by others. I invite you at this moment to consider the ground below our feet, that which gives us strength and purpose. And even if it feels right to you, maybe tip your head down and face the ground for just a brief moment, looking down to that which gives us strength and balance. And now, reaching your chin up, tilting your head to the sky if it feels right to you right now. If your eyes are open, look up into the ceiling and beyond into the clouds of the blue sky. If not, keeping your eyes closed. Focus on that, what gives us inspiration, spirit of life. That to which we aspire as a community and individually. And now bringing your face forward, breathing in deeply, opening your eyes if they were closed. Face your center, uniting your past, uniting our ancestors, bringing together with our future. Here in this community, encircled by love, we are grounded and we aspire. May it be so.
Each Sunday, our congregation dedicates 100% of its contributions. You can donate in one of two ways: by using your phone or here in person. You may rise during the music to put your donation in the boxes if you wish. This week, our gifts will support the Pasadena Humane Society. Here with more information is Julie Nakahara, Director of Partnership and Events.
Good morning. Oops. Thank you for inviting me here this morning, and thank you for all of your support. It truly means so much to all of us and the animals in our care, because lives are being changed from the kindness and generosity from people like you. What our shelter experienced last year during the Eaton fire was unlike anything we'd ever seen since we opened our doors in 1903. Within just 2 days, animal rescues and shelters across the state of California arrived in vans and trucks and cars to transfer our adoptable animals to their facilities. They made room so that we could make room for the hundreds of displaced, injured, and stray animals coming out of the fire zones. At one point, we were caring for up to 1,500 animals. While our partners and the community stepped forward to help from the outside, my coworkers on the front lines worked around the clock on the inside. They took in frightened animals, reunited families, treated injuries, answered an overwhelming number of calls for help, and welcomed every animal that needed a safe place to land. Through it all, we remained steadfast in our commitment to the community, even during one of our most trying times. I'm happy to share that just a couple months ago, we found a home for the very last remaining fire dog. Sorry. A milestone that marked an end of one chapter, but certainly not the end of our work. Today, the needs of our community continues to grow. More people are turning to our Helping Paws Pet Food Pantry so pets can remain with their families despite difficult financial times. We continue to provide low-cost spay and neuter services, affordable vaccine clinics for our 12 service cities, helping families take care of their pets before small problems become big problems. We're still the place people call when they find a stray animal, when they've lost an animal, when they're struggling to keep their animal. We're still the resource for someone who discovers an injured hawk, an orphan squirrel, a baby possum in their backyard, and doesn't know what to do. Every day, our team is there to provide care, guidance, and hope. One of the most meaningful things to come out of last year's experience is that we had the opportunity to pay that kindness forward. More than a year and a half after the fire, other shelters needed emergency space for animals that were rescued under unfortunate circumstances. Pasadena Humane was there to help. Just as others stepped in for us during our greatest time of need, we were able to step in for them. And that's what community looks like. Compassion has a ripple effect. The Eaton fire tested us in ways we never imagined, but it also reminded us that when people come together, incredible things can happen. Pasadena Humane is a stronger organization because of it, and I imagine many of you who experienced the fire firsthand have discovered strengths within yourselves that you never knew existed. So on behalf of everyone at Pasadena Humane and every animal in our care whose lives you've touched, thank you for your compassion, your generosity, and for inviting me here today to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you for giving generously.
an eternal sacred circle. We are part of it. There's an eternal sacred circle. We are part of it. We are only part of it. There's a divine and loving wisdom. We're a spark of it. There's a divine and loving wisdom. We're a spark of it. But we are only part of it. We are a part. We are part of it. We are a spark. We're a spark of it. We are a part. We are part of it. We are a spark. We're a spark of it. Here as one voice we choose survival, and we start to make an art of it. Now is our moment for revival. We're at the heart of it. And we are only part of it. We are only part of it. We are a part. We are part of it. We're at the heart. We're at the heart of it. We are a part. We are part of it. We're at the heart. We're at the heart of it. We are only part of it. We are only part of it.
Well, good morning again. I'm Lynn Miyamoto, and I was honored to serve as a delegate from this church to this year's UUA's General Assembly. As a delegate, I was asked to review and attend the business meetings, to vote on many issues, including the election of board members and other UU committees, potential bylaw changes, actions of immediate witness, responsive resolutions, and business resolutions. The importance of voting as a representative of our church is an important expression of my voting, of my values, but it is also to represent our church in the larger UU community. I would like to highlight a few of the items affirmed which are important to our congregation to take action on. The first is the affirmation of the action of immediate witness, opposing rollbacks to the environmental protections, public lands, rules, and the endangerment finding. This affirmation directs the UUA's public witness on the issue in the coming year. We also passed 2 responsive resolutions. The first was to address reaffirming our commitment to immigrant justice and racially grounded organizing. The second was a responsive resolution on Swana region concerns, which asked the Commission on Appraisal to include engagement on how the UUA can better include and respond to UUAs affected by crisis in Southeast Asia and North African region. As this year's GA was hybrid, I did all of the business meetings online. I was also able to watch a few of the learning sessions online. The first which stood out to me was a history of congregational polity with commentary from the Reverend Clyde Grubbs and other religious scholars. The second learning session was about how we as Unitarian Universalists must reckon with our own role in shaping America's imperial past. The panel examined the religious values UU colonizers carried into U.S. expansion, particularly in the Philippines and Hawaii, and addresses whether those values persist, evolve, or continue to haunt us. It was interesting to me because I knew two of the four panelists. One was the Reverend Mary Catherine Morin, lead executive officer, president of UUSC, and the other was Reverend Adam Dyer, a minister I met when I made his arrangement to attend Reverend Angeline Jackson's ordination here at Neighborhood Church. This session was a good reminder of how we continue to dismantle our own harmful practices when we as UUs show up in the world to do our work in solidarity with other fellow human beings who are facing oppression, blatant racism, exclusion, and discrimination. For me, the best part of GA was the in-person community gathering at First UU Los Angeles. I was joined by Frank Colcord on Friday. It was wonderful watching several pre-recorded services, Juneteenth service, the Synergy Bridging service from our youth, and the Berry Street essay address by Reverend Sarah Lawal, UU minister in Boise, Idaho. As some of you may know, Sarah was our director of religious education here at Neighborhood, prior to becoming a well-known faith-based activist in Idaho. It was beautiful to hear Sarah give Neighborhood a shout out for our Share the Plate donation to add the words Idaho, which advocates for inclusive policies at Idaho's capital in Boise to provide crucial emergency support for transgender youth. In my brief time together with First UU Los Angeles, we all spoke about the importance of next year's GA being in San Jose, California. We talked about how we could get together a Southern California cohort of UU churches excited about the possibility of traveling together. If we were to get to know each other ahead of time, how much more fun and meaningful it would be. We could do joint training on what it means to be a delegate. What I came to soon realize is that at Neighborhood Church, this church, we have 9 delegates who can vote. This can make a difference in an action item passing or not. There have been instances where an action of immediate witness did not go forward by an 8-vote margin. So our presence and our vote does matter. So it is my hope that we will have a strong delegation of 9 voting members at GA next year. Together at First UU Los Angeles, we dreamed of how we could have our wonderful youth get together and get to know each other before GA. This would be an expression of the GA affirmation of 2 responsive resolutions about the importance of our youth. The first responsive resolution that passed was, "Where are the youth?" calling on the association to provide resources to recruit, train, and cultivate youth leadership and attendance. The second responsive resolution was gratitude for UA support of youth and emerging adults, thanking the UA for its commitment to youth and emerging adults and calling for their full inclusion at all levels of leadership. I'm always looking for good takeaways and good practices for process and learning from GA. This year, I was happy to see that after every session, there was a process observation being done, meaning there were individuals who were listening, monitoring on how to improve the process of the meetings. They noted what worked well and what learnings the organization can take in the future to center love in all we do. How do we ensure that there is accessibility, inclusiveness, equity, and sound fairness in how we do the work of our faith? I would like to introduce process observing here at this church. I have been at the center of helping groups get through times when process observation allowed for engaged and robust conversation so we can all be heard and all respected and valued. Having immediate, kind, and loving feedback on how to improve the process or what worked well helped to bring more trusted relationship between members of the community to grow. So I was happy to learn more on how to best model, engage with process observing, having watched UU professionals do it so well. So let's take this year to prepare for GA through our efforts to meet with other local UUAs, learn and understand what being a delegate entails, support our youth and families so they can attend GA, and take some of our learnings from GA into the work of our church community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, and good morning, y'all. I'm going to try to add to what Lynn and Reverend Omega has told you so far, but I have to say that this is a week-long, very full conference, and it's really impossible for us really to touch on everything that we experienced. I will say, too, some of what I'm going to cover really shows how our association looks internally to center love in how we do our own work internally, as well as you've heard some of how we center love externally as well. Lynn mentioned that GA was held primarily online this year, but even so, there's still, we saw over 2,000 UUs at GA in attendance, including 1,400 that are delegates like Lynn and I were. We delegates spent the first 2.5 days debating and voting the items that Lynn mentioned, but we also heard UUA staff report on their initiatives and accomplishments from the year. Some of the initiatives that, again, are more internal looking included first, the UUA and its board is continuing to review and update our bylaws, the association bylaws, building on the recent work that's been done with Article 2, which includes our values and sources. The second thing is that UU staff has initiated a study on, on how lay leadership is evolving in Unitarian Universalism, and to try to develop some best practices for both promoting and supporting lay leadership at the association and congregational levels. They're also working to understand how to better involve young adults and emerging adults into decision-making processes. And lastly, an initiative has been launched called Widen the Path for those entering the ministry. This effort is an acknowledgement of the high cost of seminary these days, and with a desire to ensure an equitable means for folks to pursue a career in ministry. In addition to staff reports, there were a number of awards given out, including an award for this distinguished service to the cause of Unitarian Universalism. This award went to Reverend Clyde Grubbs, who Lynn just mentioned. Some of you may remember Reverend Grubbs when he lived here. He was in the pulpit or was the minister at Troop for a while. But Reverend Grubbs had quite the amazing career, to be perfectly honest. One of the things he did was he was a co-founder of Drum. And it was very nice to see him get honored in this way. Next, our UUA president, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, highlighted a couple of the most significant social justice efforts made by the association this year. The first one she talked about was how she became the lead author of a multi-faith letter in support of trans rights to our federal government. This letter was ultimately signed by denominational leaders from many of the nation's large organized religions. Secondly, she talked about how UUA became a partner this year to a multi-faith lawsuit against ICE for its aggressive attacks on and targeting of immigrants and citizens of color. I personally thought that both of these were not only very significant efforts, but also very visible actions being taken by our faith this year. And hearing our UUA president passionately share how our larger faith is stepping up to address some of our country's biggest societal issues, grounded, in our UU values, centering love, was very inspiring and reassuring and ultimately hopeful for me. During the remaining few days of GA, I attended a number of other amazing workshops and worship services and lectures. It's just never ending what all is on the agenda. In addition to the ones, though, that Lynn mentioned, I wanted to also say how much I enjoyed seeing Reverend Sarah Lawal give the UU Ministers Association Berry Street lecture. She gave such an impassioned speech about her social witness effort for trans rights in Idaho. Sarah and her family, as you know, including her trans daughter, they really are in the belly of the beast living in Idaho, and she seems to really be giving it the good fight. It was good to see her. I also wanted to mention the Commission on Social Witnesses workshops that I attended. They were about the current Congregational Study Action Issue, or CSAI, if that acronym means anything to you. As a reminder, that acronym, CSAI, is a multi-year association-wide effort that ultimately results in the publication of our next UU Statement of Conscience. As you may recall, too, the current CSAI is focusing on abolition and transformation and faith formation. I got to say, the work that's being done on this CSAI is incredibly expansive and paints an amazing, transformative vision for the future for our country. It's also very reflective of the work that Donna Perkins and our Truth and Reconciliation folks did here, which was also very cool to see. The last workshop that I'll mention was the conference's headliner, called Meet the Moment, as Reverend Omega mentioned. Meet the Moment is the UUA's current multi-year effort to provide support and tools, educational tools for congregations like us to tackle some of our ongoing church work. Topics that were included are things like staffing sustainably and faithfully, developing multi-generational worship services, how to hold compassion in a hurting world, support for fat liberation in a time of body fascism, and raising children in the midst of collapse, among others. This is a terrific program that I learned a whole lot from in just the short time I had with it, and I hope to share some more of this with you all, as well as with our board and staff. So lastly, I want to wrap up by repeating what Lynn said about Neighborhood taking advantage of General Assembly next year being here in California. The last time it was in California, it was in Long Beach. How long ago was that? 25 years ago? It was a long time ago. We are not the center of the UU universe on the West Coast, so anyway. But I would love to see, as Lynn mentioned, to see us join other LA area congregations and really create a representation from here at GA in person next year. I'd also like to see us send a contingency of youth to GA. I attended a couple GAs years ago with our senior high group for their bridging ceremony, and it's just an amazing experience. Not only what was for me as someone tagging along, but for the youth especially. I'd also like to see some of our choir and our new choir director attend as well. They have an amazing choir at GA, and it'd be great to see some of our folks in the choir. It'd also be great to see Neighborhoods Truth and Reconciliation folks or anyone else participate during this coming year in the development of the Statement of Conscience, and invite back Antoinette Holloman from First UU LA, just down the street, who is on the Commission on Social Witness, to come and speak more to us about it. And lastly, I would just love to see so many more of you all attend, maybe even step up and become a delegate. Attending General Assembly for me, this is 10 times now I've been, has been a key aspect of my own faith formation. It has helped me develop a deeper connection with and understanding of who I am as a Unitarian Universalist, and I hope you all will take advantage of next year's GA being local and maybe experience the same kind of faith-affirming opportunity for yourself. So put it on your calendar now, June 23rd through 27th in San Jose. Thanks, and I hope to see you there.
You know, we were chatting about this piece I'm about to do because Tiffany said that she recognized it as a UU hymn. It's a slightly different set of words, but some of you might know it as The Lone Wild Bird. But I will be singing as The Road Home. Same melody, though. Tell me, where is the road I can call my own, that I left, that I lost so long ago? All these years I have wandered, oh, when will I know? There's a way, there's a road that will lead me home. After wind, after rain, when the dark is done, as I wake from a dream in the gold of day, through the air there's a calling from far away. There's a voice I can hear that will lead me home.
wisdom traditions never dwell long on the question, why is this happening? Instead, they ask the question, who are you called to be now? These words were given as part of the Ware lecture by Bishop Marianne Edgar Budde, the 9th Episcopal bishop to serve in Washington, D.C., the first woman to ever hold that position. And you may recall Bishop Marianne Budde as being the person who led the national prayer service and called on Trump to have more compassion. She gained national attention for that and was the invited speaker for the Ware lecture this year at the General Assembly a few weeks ago. The Ware lecture, if you're not familiar, is the lecture series that happens on Saturday afternoon. It has been happening on Saturday afternoon of General Assembly since the year 1922. Has not just one lecture, it hasn't been going on that long. They've had amazing speakers, Martin Luther King Jr., the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Kurt Vonnegut spoke one year, Naomi Klein, more recently, Mary Oliver, Cornel West. It goes on, a list to be commended. Bishop Marianne Budde said this in the Ware lecture this year, that there are two reasons that she accepted the invitation to speak at this year's Unitarian Universalist. She's an Episcopal bishop, by the way, in case you didn't know. She accepted the invitation to speak at this year's General Assembly because the title Meet the Moment spoke to her for two distinct reasons. The first is that we are living in a moment that most of us would have never chosen to live in. We are living in a moment of collective determination, her words, amidst well-funded attempts at removing immigrants, at dismantling democracy, of taking down agencies, of purging libraries, of sweeping away regulations, of corruption, of war. We would not have chosen this, and yet here we are. In her words, this is our time. As people of faith, this is our time. She quoted from the Hebrew Bible saying this from the story of Esther, perhaps you have come to your royal dignity for just a time such as this. And she also quoted Lord of the Rings as well, that we are called to times of action, even if we would prefer not to be. She highlights this because this means that we have the choice for how to respond in the time that we are given. And this is the time we are given as Unitarian Universalists. The second reason she accepted the invitation to speak at the Ware lecture is because she, even as a faith leader, recognizes that whenever faith communities are summoned, there are always Unitarian Universalists there. She highlighted the action that took place in January that I also attended when people of faith from all over the country, 1,000 of us, showed up in Minneapolis to march in 20 below weather. We were there. She noticed this, and she says, as Unitarian Universalists, often we are the first to show up. We are the first to come. We are almost always among the first to embrace social change. It is our gift. And she understands this as part of social change theory, that it takes someone to go first, always. And then to live as if the horizon, that which is aspirational and beyond us, to live as if it is possible now. This is what she calls back to Walter Brueggemann as the prophetic imagination. We got it as Unitarian Universalists, and This can be a lonely place to be. It can be a frustrating place to be as we hang around waiting for everybody else to catch up. So I'd like to highlight a few ways this coming year we're going to live into this aspiration, because boy, Bishop Mary Ann Buddy has a real high opinion of us. So I say, let's do it. I hope that as a congregation, we can answer the call to meet the moment. We must answer this call, and we've already heard so many ways that we can do this year from Lynn and Frank, and so I want to highlight a couple of other ways in a congregational setting that we might do this. The first action that I invite all of you to participate in, we will, as a congregation for the third year in a row, be engaging with a common read book. This year, the Unitarian Universalist Association has chosen a common read book for UUs, which is written and edited by the Reverend Sophia Betancourt, who is the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. This book is called Love at the Center. It is a collection of essays about how we live our values in the world. So this coming year, as part of our once a month series, formerly and potentially future known as Third Sunday Theology, we will gather as a congregation in intergenerational cohorts to participate in interactive activities that will help us imagine and explore the ways that we connect within this congregation, with other Unitarian Universalists, and with the world. This will be open to everyone in the congregation, although some of you will receive a special invitation because of your participation in specific groups at this church. And the key here is that it will be intergenerational, and there is a curriculum that is being developed. So last week, the director here at this church, director of Lifespan Faith Engagement, Elle Moss, and I attended a workshop series on the curriculum that is being developed, and we are working on ways to fit that into this congregation's timeline and our mission. So while we're in the process of finalizing the schedule and other details, know that we are making inroads to that. We will also have the book available for purchase, but if you just can't wait, if you're on that leading edge and you'd like to purchase it, it is available for purchase on the UUA In-Spirit bookstore right now. The second way that I invite us to meet the moment this coming year is to recenter our call to support and be a part of teaching our children, youth, and emerging adults. I want us to prioritize their needs in this changing world right now. We have, in the past year in this congregation, rebuilt the programming for our youngest members, including classroom learning and OWL. We had over 50 youth enrolled in our classes this past year. And Elle Moss has been working to update all of our curricula to align with current best standards. That includes our classroom teaching as well as our OWL, Our Whole Lives programming. Our enrollment numbers are higher than they have been since before COVID. But here's the reality. Elle and the teachers who returned this past year just simply cannot sustain, let alone grow, this program without your help. We need more teachers. We need more advisors. We'd love more classroom helpers. Even if you can only help 1 or 2 Sundays a month, or if you don't want to plan the curriculum yourself and you just want to assist, this is invaluable to the sustainability of our program. The children and the youth and our young adult programming, this is how our faith will continue. This is incredibly important work. If you have concerns about this church, if you have concerns about Unitarian Universalism, if you have concerns about the world, which I know y'all all do, volunteer to be a teacher. Help us shape a world where we live according to our values. And last but not least, related to this, you heard from Lynn and Frank both mentioned that there was conversation and debate on the UUA national stage about how best to support youth engagement at the regional and national level. And let me be very clear, there wasn't debate about whether or not we should support children, youth, and young adults. But the debate centered this. Everyone agrees that it's important, but few put it into a priority that is either financial or time commitment related, including at individual congregations. One debater actually said this, and I'm paraphrasing, but you ask where the national programming is for youth engagement, but you don't support it in your home congregations. It has to start there first. And that is real and very, very true. Now, some of you, we were talking about this in a meeting before this worship service. Some of you remember a time when YRUU, a youth program, national program, existed, and there are many in our congregation who I know are still members because of that important opportunity to participate as a youth and young adult Unitarian Universalist. So we are going to commit this year and beyond to centering our children, youth, and emerging young adults. We are going to answer this call, and by next July, we are going to fundraise a whole bunch of money, as much as we possibly can, to send our students and their teachers and their families to San Jose. This will, as Frank rightly noted, likely be the closest to Los Angeles that General Assembly will be for maybe 10 or more years. And that's partially because they alternate West Coast, Center, East Coast, and now we only do it every 2 years. They're not going to come back to California anytime soon, alas. So I encourage us to make it a financial priority to fund or partially fund the trips for as many people as possible to go in person, including our delegates. Both of you mentioned we have 9 delegates spots available. This year we had 3 delegates, and I was one of them. We can do better for next year. Let's get more delegates and send them, and let us make a priority to send our children and youth. So what we're going to do, amongst other things, is dedicate the Sundays in which the donation goes to, the Share the Plate goes to the minister's discretionary fund. That happens on in-gathering, Christmas Eve, and other holidays. Instead, that is going to a special fund that will be earmarked specially to send our children, youth, especially we have 2 Bridgers this year, their families and advisors and others to go. It is a financial hardship to go in person. It is not cheap, so we are going to do our best to support that. We answer the call to be connected to our Greater Unitarian Universalist Association. They call, we are picking up the phone. In a world that feels increasingly unsteady, may we prioritize how we explore and how we live into our values as Unitarian Universalists. May we teach our youngest. May we inspire one another in living as a people of faith and justice. And may we be a light for one another as we meet this moment together. May it be so.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn from Sing Out Love, May I Be Light. May I be light in you. May you be light in me. Into our hearts, into our souls, let love abide. May I be love in you. May you be love in me. From this place out to the world for all time.
Our benediction today comes from the Reverend Jin Young-Sin Ryu, who is the minister who serves in Eugene, Oregon. I am paraphrasing her words here. She says this: "We gather in places like this to return to the practices that shape us. We're disciples of love like us. We study love carefully and we practice it imperfectly. And when we fail, we begin again. We begin again." The world is weary of performative righteousness. Instead, this world needs people who can remain human in an inhuman time. It needs people who can tell the truth without surrendering to cruelty and who can resist despair without pretending everything is going to be okay. So, my friends, the world is calling us to the corner. Gather up your things and take one another's hands, and let us go together as disciples of love into the world. May it be so.